It's my privilege to introduce our speaker this morning. Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson is our speaker today, and Reverend Dr. Ray's reputation as a lover of music and comic books is well known. What many do not know is how that love laid the foundation for his passion of exploring the metaphysical aspects of these modern myths and the power behind the stories we create and live. His eclectic background, educator, ASL interpreter, 10 degrees, 8 ordinations, diverse skill set. He's a martial artist, a performance artist, a visual artist, does American Sign Language. He's a workshop and seminar facilitator and a public speaker. The goofy sense of humor and deep introspections and observations have given him a unique approach and ability to simplify complex metaphysical and spiritual ideas, making them understandable and applicable to everyday life, which are among the qualities which he especially is appreciated. As a founding member of minister of the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts, he feels inspired and energized to manifest beyond the beloved community and to elevate New Thought and CSL as household names in a world that genuinely works for all and offers powerful healing to all. Welcome, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson.
Thank you so much, Vance. Hello, everybody. This is Reverend Dr. Goofy. Good morning and blessings, beloved CSL Midtown family. As always, it is an honor and a pleasure to be with you. Did you know that it was this time last year that I was with you in person? Just saying, memories. So today, as Maya introduced for her prayer, her spiritual mind treatment, and to lay the groundwork, and that amazing song, Earth Mama, is setting the intention, setting the energy for today's message. Yes, the Holy Land is everywhere. Breathe. Now, before we get in there, I want to ask you a couple of questions to start us off. Number one, if you're ready, or as we used to say as kids, ready or not. Question number one, why is it important to give reverence to the earth? Why is it important to honor the earth? I mean, isn't it just a big round ball of dirt and stuff flying through the galaxy? Why honor it? Why revere it? The full answer might shock and surprise you, but we're going to get to that in a moment. Question number two, if you are ready. What does it look like to honor the earth, to hold the earth in high esteem, to revere it? And in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day, how can we find greater inspiration from our Indigenous siblings who tended to this turtle island and tended to the ground and all creatures in ways that we, many of us, have forgotten, if we ever knew, how to take care of Mother Earth? Breathe. So there's this idea, yes, the Holy Land is everywhere. Holy. Now, there's a couple of places we could talk about holy. You know, it's the root of holistic, meaning whole, as in talking about whole, perfect, and complete. Holy is that which is, quote unquote, worthy of being revered, respected, having a sense of devotion towards whatever this thing is that we're deeming holy. It is the idea of venerating something or placing it as sacred, having a divine quality. So the Holy Land is everywhere. That means The everywhere is sacred. The everywhere is divine. Huh. So wait. Hold on a second. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm trying to grasp this idea of the sacred, that which is connected not simply with God, but that which is God expressing. The sacred is everywhere. Wait a minute. Don't we say there is only one mind, and that mind is God? And that mind is, okay, fill in the blank. And that mind is my mind now and your mind now. Okay. There is only one life, and that life is fill in the blank. And that life, okay, wait, but. And then we say things like, God is this omnipresent, omniscient. Okay, but wait, but I'm still thinking of, so wait a minute. What if God is not omnipresent, but God is omnipresence to such a degree that because there is no where other than God, there is no where for God. You get what? Okay. Where I am is Delaware. Where some of you are, Atlanta, right? Some of you, right? Colorado. Okay, right. So very different, various locations. Yes. And in the relative, we understand place, location, GPS, calculating, find me, get me there. Yes. But when God is all there is no location. There's not a spot where God is not. God is infinite presence, all that is. So within that, as that, the absolute of it, there is no where. It's simply the sacred, the all. So, have you ever thought about this idea of capitalism and toxic capitalism and colonization, where we have this idea that the earth is a commodity, right? Like the earth is for sale, which you're going to see in the slide that's getting ready to come up. The earth being for sale. And as we heard in the song Earth Mama, we heard some of the lines from Chief Seattle. So I'm going to share a quote for you, referencing this idea of for sale, the earth being for sale. How can you buy or sell the sky, the warmth of the land? The idea is strange to us, right? And keep in mind, this is Chief Seattle speaking as the Indigenous Peoples, okay? Keep that in mind. The idea is strange to us if we do not own the freshness of the air and the sparkle of the water. How can you buy them? Every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Breathe that in. Because when we move from the idea of the earth being for sale and we take in the idea from Aldo Leopold, who says, because it's very clear to think of many people, the earth is on fire. Simple as that. And the slide, it shows there's the firemen attempting to put the earth out, put the fire out. And the little earth, you know, what the heck, Yuns guys are killing me here. Because the way we are polluting the planet and not effectively caring for it, right? But Aldo says we abuse land, we abuse the earth because we regard it as a commodity that belongs to us. When we see the land as community to which we belong, we may begin to use it and live upon it and live with it with love and respect. Now, look at this next slide image and tell me if this looks like love and respect to you. It is our lack of sacred awareness that has caused us to desecrate the planet and all life upon it, including ourselves. I want us to breathe this in, because if we're going to create a world that works for all, then it's important that we must change the way we have been doing things and create new ways of. How do we manage this thing called trash when we have landfill after landfill after landfill after landfill after toxic dump after toxic dump after toxic dump? There ain't but so much space on this tiny blue marble. At some point, it's going to become a tiny blue marble covered in trash. So, I want to segue to this idea of, keeping this in mind, the idea of holy land, the way we normally think of it, right? This next slide shows two distinct texts, and both of them have the title, or in the title, Holy Land. Now, they're specifically referencing the concept of Holy Land being a specific place designated to a specific people. And when we have this idea, as the little bony man in the middle of the slide says, you claim particular lands and people as holy, yet simultaneously causing harm to other lands and to other people. See, that's what happens. When I claim this place here, right here, right here, right here where I am, sacred and holy, then clearly where they are can't be. And if where I am is sacred and holy, then it means I must be of I'm sacred and holy myself because I am of this land and they are not. Therefore, you're not what we are. And when we other people to that degree and deem them as less than sacred or non-sacred or secular or what's even what? Sacrilegious, blasphemous, heathens. Many of these such words are used. And then what usually follows is some form of extermination. We saw this with Hitler. When you dehumanize, we saw it with the transatlantic slave. We understand this. We understand this. So why are we playing tug of war with the earth? Right? This next slide, it's a very graphic way of recognizing there are people tugging. Why do you fight over something that is not yours to own? And if we keep tugging and keep tugging, the earth is going to crack apart, as the next slide shows. It's going to crack open, and there is going to be more and more and more pain and trauma. So why are we destroying things that cannot be repaired? The earth is not a piece of Japanese pottery that we can use kintsugi for and join it with gold. And there are certain things that, right? Not too long ago, there was an incident called, here in the United States, called 9/11. And many years ago, there was an incident in Japan in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The damage that was done cannot be undone. The harm that was caused in all of these events cannot be undone. We can heal and move forward, but once something is destroyed to a certain degree, it cannot be repaired. It can only be leveled and then healed and addressed, and then something new built where that once stood. Some relationships, once they have ended, if there's something with, when my parents died, if there was something that was unsaid between them and me and them, once they made their transition, that communication is no longer. So why not be where we are right now? And as Greta Thunberg says in this next slide, all we have to do is wake up and change. As Maya said in her opening, be woke, wake up, and yes, wake up. But just waking up is not the same as getting up. So wake up, then get up and get into action. Treat and move your feet. As Dr. Holmes said, one of my paraphrase, one of the problems with this new order of thinking and thought and the age of is that we engage in too much theory and too little practice. So just waking up, we've all done it at some time or another. We wake up, we lay in the bed, we just chill in the bed. Knowing let me check my calendar. I should probably get up and get moving. Breathe. There is an ancient, and I've heard it from various things, but I'll share the Hopi version of it. The Hopi prophecy that says, when the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, a new tribe of people shall come onto the earth from many colors, classes, creeds, and who by their actions and by their deeds shall make the earth green again. And they will be known as the warriors of the rainbow. Is that us? Are we the ones we've been waiting for? Albert Einstein said, look deep into nature and then you will understand everything better. But why? Because nature is God expressing. And as Pythagoras reminds us, the greater our understanding and awareness of self, the greater our understanding and awareness of both the universe and God, because that which God is all there is. And so self-knowledge increases my ability to have knowledge and connection with others. See, the more self-aware I am, the more my connection with Vance, right? The more my understanding, the more my empathy, the more I understand we are not simply two separate individuals, but we are two distinct expressions of the divine. Which is one reason why I say, in Genesis, when it said, am I my brother's keeper? And I'm like, no, I am not my brother's keeper. No, I am not my sister's keeper. No, I am not my transgender, non-binary, non-gender conforming siblings keeper. I am them. They are me. We are expressions of oneness. And the more I can look into the nature of Ray, the more I understand the nature of God, the more I am able to understand the nature of harmony and peace and love and compassion, no matter what is going on. As Frank Lloyd Wright said, I believe in God, only I spell it nature. Take that in for a second. Because Elizabeth Barrett Browning says, the earth is crammed with heaven, but only those who see it, only those who recognize it are the ones who remove their shoes. And that's clearly a reference to, do not come any closer, take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Do you realize the place where you are right now, the place where you are sitting, the place where you are laying, the place where you are standing right now is holy ground? No matter where you are, your office, your bedroom, a classroom, doesn't matter where you are, it's holy ground. But do you recognize it as holy ground? And holy, not because there was something specific about the land, the room, the floor, but because it is an expression of the divine. And when we recognize that, it's God recognizing God as. Breathe. So in what way are we invited to move into this greater awareness? As was mentioned in the song, and it's mentioned in this next slide, humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. All things are bound together. All things connect, which we understand as God is a circle, right? You've heard me mention this before. And the next slide, for me, perfectly aligns this idea of the web and what we understand. Science of mind, open at the top. God is a circle, circumference nowhere, center everywhere. That means right where you are, God must be. If God is right where you are, the center of God is where you are. That's the thing. Remember what I said at the beginning? When there's no somewhere, it's everywhere to the degree that there is no where. It's just God. So right where you are, God. Right as you are, God. Going shopping, God. Getting on the train, God. Going downtown, God. In traffic, God. God. Everywhere. So breathe. And as our final slide says, our invitation is, what does it mean for us to take responsibility for our own mental equivalence? To take responsibility for how we show up on this earth? Take responsibility for how we interact with one another as God expressing. How are we experiencing the sacred? Not simply as when I go to this place. Yes, it's a beautiful place. Yes, but it's no more sacred than another place in terms of this place has more God than that place. That place doesn't have the same amount of God. What? That's not possible. God, all there is. Same amount, all there is. Center of God, everywhere. So everywhere is just as sacred, including, remember the landfills? That is sacred ground as well, but we are not treating it as sacred. We are treating it as a toilet, a place to simply dump trash and the unusables and the unwantables and the yeah. How many of us would go to the Vatican and just dump a well, if we tried to, they would arrest us and remove us. Why? Because the Sistine Chapel, this is a place, this is a holy place, this is a sacred place, this is a beautiful place, and we are desecrating it, desacratizing it, making it less sacred by our actions, even though that's not really possible. But the consciousness of it is what we are bringing into space. And then how are we invited to ground ourselves in nature? Because the more we are in this space of nature, the more we are able to see and recognize how the infinite universe operates, right? That's why we use butterflies and the metamorphosis as an example of evolution and transformation of our consciousness. That's nature showing us how the universe operates, showing us how God moves, shifts, and changes. We use things like the waves on the beach, and we use examples like, I'm not the whole ocean, but I'm a drop in the ocean, and we use nature examples. Why? Because it's another way of talking about God. And if that's another way of talking about God, then it's another way of talking about ourselves. If that's the case, then how are we taking responsibility for ourselves, for our sacred experience of self, and grounding ourselves in nature? Because when we do so, we then take on the responsibility of caring for others, assisting others in experiencing the sacred of themselves and their surroundings. And we help our Indigenous siblings protect and defend the earth itself. As Jane Goodall says on this last slide, what you do makes a difference. And you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. You have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Because no matter what, you are making a difference. No matter what, you are making a difference. Is the difference life affirming or non-life affirming? Is the difference sacred and comforting and loving and peaceful? Or is the difference discord, disharmony, angst? Because no matter what, there is only one mind. And what we think in that mind, as that mind, we are creating in one way, shape, or form. Our thoughts affect our bodies. And so when we go out into the world, that thought that is affecting the body shows up as an action. No matter what, we are making a difference. So our invitation in this moment is to understand that we get to choose the kind of difference we are going to make. So if you're with me, let's choose to recognize Holy Land is everywhere because God is everywhere. Wherever I am, God is, and holy ground is, the Holy Land is, the sacred is, all of us, right here and right now. Choose wisely, and so it is.